Hey, Blockhead Traders. Here at Blockhead Traders, I must inform you that we are not financial professionals. Nothing we say should be considered financial advice. We offer our own thoughts and opinions to you, the viewer. We expect you to take these opinions and form your own financial conclusions and make your own financial decisions. Today is Thursday, February 10th, 2022, and this is Blockhead Traders Weekly. In this week's episode, I am joined by fellow Blockhead trader Viper XL 007. And this is a week that Viper has been looking forward to for a while. I am going to make a deeper entry into the crypto world with my own investment money, and we're going to do it live in this episode. But before we hop to all that content, I want to give a shout out to our Discord, a link in the description below. You can hop in there, talk about what you're trading, tell us what you love to hear about. Love to hear from you. Look forward to saying hello. You can also find a link to thetagang.com/sprocket888, where I post each and every one of my trades, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Viper, let's get to this week's episode of getting me into the modern crypto world. Now, I've technically kind of dabbled a little bit a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when I started staking a little bit in one of the Ethereum pools. And you've kind of thrown out different gamifications and NFTs, things like that. And it's kind of perked my curiosity. We were a little delayed with the market slowdown, as I had a lot of money invested in the market that I was waiting for some of the premium to come off and the buying power to come out so I could extract some of those funds to put forth that. That finally happened last week, and then we had to wait another week because you just can't put money in Coinbase and throw it all around. So we had to go through the mandatory waiting period. But the day has arrived.
Indeed, it has. And kind of what I definitely want to set an expectation for is I view the level of crypto we're going into now is the advanced tier, we'll call it, the level 2. Level 1, like, which is to say no one should feel like if they want to get into crypto, they have to go this far into crypto. You can go into crypto, like we've said many times before, open a Coinbase account, move some money from your bank, and just trade on that platform. That's going to be more your analog to equities market, buying, trading coins, things like that. What we're going to today is how are people gamifying crypto in a way that kind of keeps you engaged in all these different strategies of how to optimize yields or returns or things like that. So that's kind of a little setup to what I think is some important context.
Yeah, so one of the things that caught my attention that you had kind of shown me a while back was chicken farming. And maybe it's because I grew up in the middle of nowhere. There was farms all around, but this chicken farming game is very interesting to me. And it has a couple of cool dynamics to me that gain my curiosity. And one of which, part of this game, there is a supply of items that basically is finite. And anytime you have any sort of resources that are finite, there can be more perceived value in those type of resources. So Viper, you want to give a little bit of overview?
Yeah, absolutely. And like all good things, it starts with a good meme, apparently. So if we take a look here, this is my chicken currently. She's a very, romantic chicken. She's got her flowers and pirate hats. So anyways, the game's built around these chickens. The very fundamental mechanics of it here are you roost your chicken. Now this is equatable to the phrase staking. So you roost your chicken, which is this chicken's an NFT. But keep in mind, an NFT is just a bunch of program code with an image in front of it. So it's not about the image in this case, it's about the code behind it. So when it's roosted, my chicken starts to lay eggs. And the amount of eggs my chicken lays depends on how large she is. And my chicken is 17 kilograms, which earns me approximately, well, not approximately, exactly 5 eggs per day. So we can see currently I've unclaimed 4.587 blah, blah, blah eggs. So I'm coming up on almost a 24-hour period since I last claimed my eggs. Now, what would you do with eggs? Well, you could sell them straight away because I don't have the chart up now, but eggs are currently worth $1.87 a piece. Egg is just a crypto token that's out there floating around. This game is giving it function and utility, but I could just keep claiming my eggs and go sell them and stop there. However, the game goes a little bit further to say you could also then take your eggs and stake them over here, and they will provide, for every 1 egg staked, they will provide 3 feed tokens. And so now we're talking a new token called feed. And I earn currently with 127 eggs staked, I earn 381 feed per day. And then down here is my feed claimable, and I would just claim it. And here is my current total feed bag. So I currently have 1,757 feed in my bag. And then I would take that feed and I could feed it to my chicken and level her up to the next and fatten her up to the next kilogram level. So I would then take her to 18 kilograms, of which she would then lay 5.25 eggs per day. So there's a very linear schedule of upgrades and how many eggs per day it gives you. There is a very flat 3 feed per egg that you earn. And then whatever feed you feed your chicken goes through this process called burning. And that means it's taken out of circulation. And that is kind of where Sprocket's interest is piqued, because we have this feed token. People playing this tokenomics game are constantly burning that feed. The feed is being emitted, but eventually, and we don't need to go into the depth of it, but this is the roadmap for the game. Everything in green is completed. Everything in yellow is yet to come. And a couple of the big major things are there's going to be cockfights where your chickens will actually battle each other in a PvP battle of some sort. And so your larger birds are going to be more powerful in those fights. And then there's also going to be roosters, and you can have baby chickens and all that kind of stuff. But the point is there's a bunch of burn mechanisms, and feed will eventually no longer be emitted into the game. And then slowly over time, feed will be burnt, which means total supply goes down. People will still be using it, so demand will go up. And the play that has piqued Sprocket's interest is what happens then. So is that a fair recap?
That's exactly it. Basically, the mechanics of this game are interesting enough to me that I can definitely see people engaging in it and wanting to kind of participate. And then the mechanic of the feed that Viper explained is something that is finite by the design of the game. There will come a time when there will be no more feed emitted. So it's a limited supply. With the features in the game, the demand should increase. And so it's just a simple thing that you learn in high school economics. Supply is low, demand is high, price is high. So I want to be a feed hoarder and hoard feed.
And there is one additional aspect which we haven't really discussed, but it plays exactly into this. When roosters come out, like I said, roosters are on the roadmap, and probably within the next month they're expected to come out. When you get an NFT on a launch, that's what's called minting. So you've minted that NFT into creation. All roosters will be paid for with egg. So that is also a burn event for egg. So even though egg isn't the focus of Sprocket's play, he will have a bag of egg in his hands because that's how he gets feed out of it. And there will be a point in time where there will be a very high demand spike in egg. So there could be some pretty fun price action on the egg token.
The other thing is I kind of would like to have a chicken to, that just makes eggs for me and then put those eggs in a staking pool. But I'm not quite ready to spend that much money on a chicken. So I figured I can just buy the egg and put that in an egg staking pool. And earn my feed that way. And if I like how this plays out, perhaps I can then further make the investment to actually purchase a chicken. They seem to fluctuate quite a bit in price over time. So I'll just kind of keep looking at that, but it would be kind of cool to have a chicken someday.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Yeah, I only have a chicken because I just happened to luck into the game before prices went wild. So I have plenty of profits on the luck of getting the chicken before everybody wanted one.
As we were talking about this before we entered this episode, Viper brought to my attention, hey, since your end goal here is to acquire egg and feed, you might want to check out another particular game that's building up supply. And in the effort of doing that, there have let's call it a limited time offer or some kind of special circumstances in which there is potentially more feed emission. I shouldn't say feed emission. They are emitting tokens at a very high rate, which if I collected those, I can sell them and buy feed for that. So it doesn't really have anything to do directly with feed, but I can take the tokens from that thing, which are coming in at a higher return rate than just plain old staking eggs in chicken. And that's really where we're going to start our journey, or that's where we're going to put my investment in that pool, staking egg and AVAX in a liquidity pool, as it's known. So Viper, do you want to just give a really brief overview of this mechanism that you were kind of bringing me up to speed on a little bit ago?
This is why I say we're in the advanced tier of crypto, because it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things moving around. So what's important to remember is this part of the play has nothing to do with chicken. It's a means to the end. And so it just so happens that there is this other game that's in development that I'm very excited about. And the game has a token that is native to the game. It will be the token currency in the game called RADI here. And so for reasons that aren't necessarily important now, they are trying to emit their game token, RADI, very quietly, if you will. That is to say, they're not having a giant initial coin offering where a bunch of people pile in and grab it. They're just trying to build some liquidity in their game because people are going to need to move coins around in their game. And they just wanted to, as a reward, give out this RADI token to people that are providing liquidity in that pool. And so this is where we get into a concept which we discussed previously on the crypto series of liquidity pool providing, or being a liquidity provider. And at the very, very high level, what that means is, like right here, we see a RADI AVAX pool. And all that means is you take an equal value of RADI and an equal value of AVAX, and you are providing those two halves into a pool. And what that provides the community is the ability to come to this pool with their own AVAX and say, hey, I have one AVAX. Can I get one AVAX worth of that RADI in that pool? And then the pool will give them, they put their AVAX in, the pool will give them their RADI back, and then they go on their way. And this is all automated. So this is an AMM, automated market maker, and that's what's happening here. So what I thought was very interesting is if we scroll down the list of farms that are available, or pooling pairs, we have an egg and an AVAX pool. So what was interesting as a means to an end was I said, hey, you know what? Yes, you could take that egg and you could go stake it and you could earn feed just like we just showed. However, due to completely different circumstances and goals of this game, they are giving out a lot of RADI for the time being, limited time offer type of thing, to get their token out into the market. And it just so happens that the amount of RADI earned, if you just go sell it for AVAX and then buy feed with that AVAX, it works out to about 3.3 times more feed that Sprocket can buy by cashing out this RADI that he gets as a benefit here in the pool. So not required to play chicken, but this is an example of how things get intermixed down here at this level of crypto, where you can find all these different strategies to leverage different means to an end. So that is the direction that has caught Sprocket's attention.
Let's get to the action. I'm ready to put about $1,000 into this particular investment. So I'm going to see how far that gets me as far as EGG and AVAX goes. But where we're going to start is I have deposited cash into my Coinbase account. And the first thing that we have to do is go ahead and get the particular cryptocurrency that we're going to need to participate in. And in this case, that is AVAX.
So in the context of the last episode we did where we summarized, the last crypto episode where we summarized everything, what we're trying to do now is we're getting onto the subway. We are taking the AVAX from Coinbase here and putting it into Sprocket's personal wallet, and we are going on to the subway. That's the step we're at on getting into the crypto world.
I happen to use Coinbase. You can use any of these places that are going to sell AVAX, but Coinbase is the one that I happen to so choose. So the first thing we're going to come in is we're going to come into the place and we're going to go pick the crypto token that we want to buy, the currency that we want to exchange for. And in this case, we want to buy AVAX here. So we'll select AVAX, and it is currently trading for around $88.49 in AVAX. All right, so placing this initial order is pretty simple. You kind of come here in the amount that you want to spend, and you say, okay, how many US dollars do I want to spend? So I'm going to enter 1,000. I'm going to get a $5 fee from Coinbase in US dollars, and the remaining balance is going to give me about 11.129 AVAX. Now, you can do things of limit orders to try to catch certain prices. Hey, I don't want to buy it at $89.36. I want to wait till it hits $88.91. And you can put that limit order in. For this, I'm just going to push buy, which is just an immediate market order, and it's going to give you the current fill price of the exchange. I will push buy, and instantaneously, I now have 11.12 AVAX in my Coinbase account, and you can see my balance has gone down in my Coinbase account by $1,000 US, which are now represented in AVAX tokens. So we got money, we got our AVAX, and we want to go some liquidity pool staking, but like in our episode, sometimes the most interesting things are not on the resort. So we got to pack our bags and we got to head to the other place. Now it's time to withdraw my AVAX from my Coinbase account and put it into my MetaMask wallet. My MetaMask wallet is paired to my browser. So it's a browser wallet. It's how you can install it. It's an add-on to Firefox. And I will simply come over here to the Coinbase and I will push withdraw. And they want to know, hey, what do you want to withdraw? I want to withdraw Avalanche. And it says, do you want to send it to Coinbase? Do you want to send it to a crypto address? I don't want to go to a different Coinbase. I want to go to my crypto wallet. Therefore, I am going to supply a crypto address. And so I will choose crypto address. Now, this is telling me I have 11.12 of this AVAX in my portfolio. They want me to enter the address that I want to send it to. I'm going to paste in my crypto address. Now, one thing to note here, remember the subway analogy that we drew last episode. There is different train tracks that are leaving this station. Almost every train track that leaves the Coinbase station is on the Ethereum network. In this case, AVAX is not actually transmitted on the Ethereum network. It goes on its own network, its own blockchain, the Avalanche chain. And that is, they have different classes. This is going to go on the Avalanche C network. It's just what Coinbase uses. It's what most of the transactions of moving money around actually happen to. So that's just another track. And that was one of the decisions when I was picking the station that I was going to utilize when I chose Coinbase. But that is technically how this is leaving the station of Coinbase and going to my MetaMask wallet. It's going on the AVAX C chain,
which is
network.
The primary chain for Avalanche.
So I will push max because I want to pull out all of my AVAX, and you will see that there is a network fee here of 0.013 AVAX. And so that is why the max that I can go ahead and transfer to my wallet is 11.107. It's withdrawing that 0.013 from my balance to pay for that gas fee. This is the bus ticket to get me to my next stop. We talked about in the last episode, you're going to pay gas fees all along the way. This is my first gas fee. It's time to withdraw that to my MetaMask wallet. I will simply press withdraw. Coinbase has a two-factor authentication, so I actually get a text to my phone, and I have to enter that two-factor authentication here to complete this transaction. Now we just need to wait for the AVAX network to actually confirm that transaction. This is where the various stakers and miners on the blockchain are basically confirming this transaction and kind of locking it into that public ledger right now to say that this Coinbase wallet has transferred 11.107 AVAX to this other wallet. So this record is going on that AVAX blockchain right now. So if we want to bring up my MetaMask wallet, you can now see that I have 11.107 AVAX presently in my MetaMask wallet. We got the wallet ready, and it's time to go to the liquidity pool where we want to spend this 11.107
and I have to
AVAX.
point out, we broke the cardinal rule of transferring money in crypto, which is, and this is actually really important, but I mean, we were very confident in the process we just did, but please, 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 please never make your first transaction like $1,000. Always, I mean, you're gonna eat a little bit of gas, but send a small bit just to make sure you got all the things worked out. Because what we just said about Avalanche on the C chain, another good example is there's a coin in Coinbase called Terra. That's its own thing, but it's wrapped in Coinbase. So if you tried to send your Terra from Coinbase to the Terra network, you'd lose it. It would be gone. So I definitely forgot to catch Sprocket on that. I'm glad his money went through and it's in his pocket, because just for a split second, I was clenching my butt cheeks.
Okay, so now we're at this liquidity pool here, and we need to stake two halves of the liquidity pool. We need to stake an equal amount of EGG and AVAX. However, I only have AVAX, I have no EGG. So we need to get some EGG first. And we also need to decide how much EGG are we going to get. So Viper, you had a tip for what to kind of leave behind in your wallet.
So keep in mind, I mean, now we're on the street. Like, I mean, this is a street vendor that we've walked up to. And every transaction in this world requires gas fee. And no one's going to bail us out if you don't have money for gas. And so that is to say, if Sprocket first of all, if he tried to do 11.107 and convert it to egg, it's not going to happen because his wallet's going to pop up and say, I need gas. And you got nothing left for gas. So gas is very cheap compared to Ethereum. That's one of the benefits of the Avalanche network among many. And what I like to do as a personal rule of thumb is I like to make sure that I have around 0.1 to 0.25 AVAX in my wallet at all times to cover gas fees. Typically, gas fees are on the order of 0.005 to 0.03 is a typical range swing of gas fees. So I like to have a very decent buffer there if I want to make multiple moves. And anytime I have significant AVAX in my wallet, like this transaction right here, I use this opportunity to bring myself back up to 0.25.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and follow that guidance, and we're going to withhold 0.25 from the transaction, which is going to leave me with 10.857 AVAX. So we need to get some egg, Viper, and I believe we can do that in the swap pool at this particular
So what's happening
location.
right now is I mean, this is the same sort of situation as what just happened on Coinbase. We're going to swap one asset for another. So if you take your 10 point whatever value and divide it by 2, because again, in a liquidity pool, we need to be split 50-50 of equal value. So we can take that value and then put that in the from, whatever that split in half is, and it's going to do the maths for us, and it'll say that much is that much egg, and we say swap.
So split in half, we have 5.4285. So I will take 5.4285 AVAX, and that will translate to roughly 262.987 egg. The reason it's estimated is because I believe there can be kind of slippage in the market maker pool here, and I think there is also a fee that is also charged.
Yeah, so there is a liquidity provider fee, which for those people who are obviously providing the liquidity for the pool, they will get this fee split to them based on how much of the pool they are providing. Because again, this is not in the Coinbase world. That was Coinbase owned assets that you were flipping between. These are all community owned assets that we're flipping between. So there is no organization doing this. It's people. And so that's where that fee goes, to those people.
So I'm going to push the swap button. Do you approve of that, Viper? Did I skip
No.
any cardinal rules?
So we're going
here?
to push the swap button, and then his wallet's going to pop up and say, okay, here's what I think gas is going to be.
Yeah, so you can't see this on the screen. My estimated gas fees for this transaction are 0.0049 AVAX. So they want to know if I'm going to confirm. They estimate that it will transact in about 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yep,
and that is a
go for it.
Pretty standard gas fee rate. You know, I mean, roughly that's 40 cents, probably somewhere around there, which compared to the same exact transaction on Ethereum, we're talking $40. So again, that is one of those benefits of Avalanche. So there we go. We got confirmation.
Now the transaction has completed, and we could view it on the Snowtrace Explorer. This is every blockchain has explorers, which let you kind of open up that public ledger and look through it. So if you want to open it up, you can actually see the transaction on there. So just real briefly, if we go and we click on this particular transaction, it will take us to the Snowtrace. And this is all the information about it. So when we're talking about putting the information on the ledger, putting the stuff in the box, if it fits, it ships. This is the information that's going on there. You can kind of look around, explore the different logs, what happened, where it happened. Everything happens out in the public, in the open. It is cryptographically signed and secured, but you're more than welcome to see all of that stuff. It's pretty neat to kind of look through it and just be like, oh, that's kind of cool. But back to our liquidity pool.
And we can see there,
Go ahead.
42 cents was the gas. Not too shabby on my little rough math.
All right. So now I think we are all set to go ahead and deposit assets into this liquidity pool.
That's correct. So now from here, you would go to the pool tab, which is where you can declare what pool you want to create. And technically you could create whatever pool you want. But it's obviously best if they're giving benefits and rewards to certain pools, you want to do those. So you would do to add liquidity, and it'll ask to put in which pair you would like to add liquidity for. So you would just select AVAX there and then do egg as the select a token. And then what's important to do here, because remember, we need to hold on to just that tiny little remainder of AVAX. So I always hit the max button on the egg in this case, because I do want to put all the egg into the liquidity, but I don't want to put all of my AVAX. So hit the max button on egg, and it's going to go ahead and say, okay, here we go. And then I confirm that, yep, there's the little gas remainder. You can see the total balance of 5.67 in the wallet. And it's going to take 5.34 of that for this pool pairing, which is perfect. We got room left over for gas. And we have to approve egg first, as the button says there, because your first interaction with any coin contract address, you have to approve it. And so this is definitely a security measure that you're basically signing the package to say, I'm okay. I know what this egg contract is. I want to sign it. So you say approve egg, and MetaMask, the wallet, pops up and gives you the chance to actually put your signature on it before you can actually make this supply swap, or not swap, but supply.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and push approve egg. You can't see it, it's off screen, but my MetaMask wallet is popping up. It says, are you sure that you're giving permission to access your egg? There is a transaction fee associated with this. It is 15 cents or 0.0015 or 1734 AVAX. I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. And this is, again, another transaction that's going to get logged on that blockchain. And so we need to wait for the miners to confirm it. It has now been confirmed, and I could go look at that on that Snowtrace Explorer. So now we are ready to supply the liquidity. So there is a note down here. It says, by adding liquidity, you'll earn 0.05% of all trades on this pair proportional to the share of the pool. Fees are added to the pool, accrue in real time, and can be claimed by withdrawing your liquidity. So just like you saw me do that swap for egg, that fee went to those liquidity pool providers. So every time anybody comes to this particular pool to do the same swap, 0.05% they will be charged, and that will go into all the liquidity pool miners that Viper was mentioning before. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to push supply. So again, I now have a MetaMask wallet popped up, and here I am confirming transfer of the 5.34240015 AVAX in. Again, we are going to get hit with another gas fee. The gas fee is 0.006809, and I'm going to go ahead and say confirm. And again, this is another transaction going on to the blockchain. So you can see, at the more of these complex transactions, the more times you need to put things on the public ledger, you're going to pay a fee every single time. Now, the fee on the Avalanche network is quite low compared to Ethereum, but you're still paying that fee every single time you want to do something. And this is the logic behind Viper saying, hey, you better leave some AVAX in your wallet, because if you run out, you're not making any more transactions.
We both learned the hard way on the Ethereum network, because it's a lot harder to prepare for gas fees over there. I mean, so we can see here now that the transaction is done, that what has happened is those two assets are now coupled together and locked into a new token called a liquidity provider token. So Sprocket will no longer see the AVAX in his wallet. He will no longer see the egg in his wallet. There is another token that is now sitting in his wallet, which is the liquidity pool token. And of those, you can see at the bottom there, he has 37.41. So the next step is to take those 37.1 LP tokens and go do something with them. So what's happening behind the scenes right now is everything's live. Somebody could come in here and start using the liquidity that Sprocket has provided. The only downside for Sprocket is right now he's just holding the LP tokens and then gaining that 0.05% on any trades or swaps that are happening right now. He's not getting the limited time offer rewards for that. And for that, you need to go to the farm and deposit your LP tokens into the farm, which is basically just to say, hey, lock these tokens up. I promise I'm not going to pull my liquidity as long as you're holding my tokens. And then that's why they say, okay, in return, we are going to reward you with whatever the rewards may be. Obviously, in this case, it's RADI tokens. So we would go to the egg AVAX pairing, because that is the pairing that is inside the LP tokens, and simply push deposit and select how much we want to deposit, which in this case is all of them.
So I'm here. I have my egg AVAX. I'm going to push deposit. So you can see here I have 37.418 X RADI tokens available. I'm going to go ahead and click deposit these tokens. And I will say, how many do you want to deposit in here? Well, I want all of them to be deposited. And the estimated weekly rewards here are 1,338 RADI per week. So I will approve this deposit. This is bringing up my MetaMask wallet for a signature of mine, and I'm going to sign this. Now, there's no gas fees involved there. This is not actually getting logged on the blockchain yet, but here I'm now going to deposit these liquidity pool tokens into this farm. So I will push deposit. And again, I get a MetaMask estimated gas fees of 0.005368 because this is another transaction that's going on to the blockchain. So once again, I'm going to pay more gas fees, and I will go ahead and confirm this. And so we're waiting again for the transaction to go through, where the blockchain will confirm it, and it will be part of the cryptographic log. Now it exists, it has finished, and it is available on Snowtrace should I want to inspect it.
And you're earning.
And there we have it. I have my liquidity deposits, and you can see I am now earning that unclaimed RADI.
So a couple notes. Obviously, you can see even more now that we've gone through it, why this is kind of that advanced tier interaction. And a lot of this is barrier to entry. And so obviously the future of crypto, a lot of this stuff needs to be simplified and put into better packages for people to understand. Technically, they're all required. I mean, that's why they're there, because we're interacting between two computer programs and need to do it in a way that somebody can't gamify and submit bad, things. And so that's why the signings and the submits and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, everything we just did is very crucial to the central function of crypto, and that is liquidity providing. That is when you get off the resort and you're onto an expedition. The only way that these funds are available is by people offering them up as liquidity. And so that is the function of what we just did.
Yep, absolutely. So that's it. I am in a little bit deeper into the crypto world. I'm excited to be earning this RADI. I'm going to plan to cash this out with some frequency. I'm not sure if it'll be daily or every other day, but I will be cashing it out and converting it over into feed, selling it back to AVAX and converting it into feed. I've kept some AVAX in my wallet because every time I do that, I'm going to be logging gas fees and transaction fees. And so you can see it's, like Viper said, it's a little bit more on the not as, point, click, buy type of thing from your normal equities or your normal Coinbase trading. But it's not really that scary once you kind of walk through it a few times.
And that's the game, is just stepping those steps, and in this case buying the feed, whatever, and getting it back into Coinbase, where you could then get it back into US dollars and cash out if you wanted.
That brings us to the end of this week's episode of Live Entry by Viper into the crypto world. Stay tuned. I think there is more we want to explore here with liquidity pooling and other adventures that I want to go on. Like I said, I really think it'd be cool to have a chicken. There's a couple other things that Viper's kind of shown me that are similar to the chicken game. And it's definitely something that I'm interested in, where we have limited supply, potential increasing demand. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll do some future episodes on it. If you're completely bored by this type of stuff, let us know and we'll just stop doing it. If you want to see more of it, let us know and we'll do more episodes like this. Good luck out there in the crypto world. And remember, think outside the block.